Hello, the following recording is a session with Jeff French, who is the founder of BlockPacks, and he stopped by the MetaJungle Discord to tell us a little bit more about a very exciting project that they have going on within the BlockPacks community. With the merge of Ethereum, they actually managed to mint the very last NFT project on the proof of work blockchain, which is really, really exciting and was quite the technical feat. And so in this session, he's going to tell us a little bit more how they actually came to achieve this, and also opportunities for how you can claim one of the last 10,000 tokens minted on the proof of work blockchain. We really appreciate the opportunity for MetaJungle to be able to participate in this really historic event. And please check out the announcement channels within the MetaJungle Discord to be able to also find out more details about how you can participate in the free claim that is coming up soon. Hope you enjoy.
In block packs, our goal is to create collectible things that people want to own, and we do a lot of gamified experiences around physical collectibles. Guessing that probably several here at least are kind of familiar with that aspect of the business, but we tokenize physical assets, kind of how we got our start: sports cards, comics, really anything you can collect, put it in a vault, and then issue an NFT, and that NFT becomes proof of ownership, title of ownership for that asset. Whoever owns the NFT can burn it at any time, collect the physical. That's kind of how we got our start, and we knew that that was going to become ubiquitous, and a lot of big companies would end up doing that. And so we didn't really want to try to build a business around tokenization of physicals. We do it so that we can have them to then gamify the assets into pack-based ripping experiences, and then we layer on top of that, we create our own collectibles that that people want to collect the same way they want to collect a comic or want to collect a sports card or a Pokemon card or a Magic card. They genuinely want to collect and hold those things. And so the challenge on us then is to look and try to identify what are those things that people will enjoy and like to collect. A very recent example, we just had a reveal the other night of the first ever set of CryptoPunk trading cards. So just like you would have Pokemon cards, we went out, licensed 31 individual CryptoPunks, and we created the first ever CryptoPunk trading cards. And people are really enjoying building the sets, building rainbows. If you look on OpenSea, you'll see that it's the BlockPacks first edition Series 1 Punks. A lot of people look at that and they say, wait a minute, this is a 10,000 collection. It's only got an 8% unique holder rate. I don't want to touch that because that's usually a bad signal for a NFT collection. It's actually the opposite in this regard, because what that means that our people are building sets and rainbows, and they're collecting it the same way they would collect trading cards. If you think about, if Topps produces cards, they produce millions and millions of cards, hundreds of millions of cards, and their unique holder ratio as a percentage of the cards produced is in the low single digits. I don't have that number, but nobody does because we can't see it like we can on the blockchain. But I know that it's a low number of unique holders in any particular trading card release, whether that's Pokemon or Magic the Gathering or sports cards, it doesn't matter. But that signal tells you that the people that enjoy it, they enjoy collecting multiples, building sets, and that sort of thing. So that's a paradigm that we're trying to make sure we break in this space so that people understand that. But anyway, back to my original point. We're one of the things we have to do is we're tasked with building collectibles that people want to collect. And so as we sat around and looked at the merge and what was coming, we saw that this would be a really interesting opportunity to somebody was going to mint the last contract. Somebody was going to mint the last tokens. And if those were BlockPacks collectibles, we thought that would be really interesting and really attractive to people. And that's what we set out to do, and the engineering team did it.
That is so exciting. And I understand there were others that were working on that maybe at the same time as well, but you guys were able to be the ones, huh?
Yeah, so there was a ton of activity going on the blockchain at that time, as you can imagine. But part of what I think our engineers got right, because one of the things that I want to make sure everybody understands is I sat around and I'm kind of tasked with coming up with what a lot of interesting collectibles can be. Let's go license the punks. Let's look at this last block or whatever. But at the end of the day, I would have been nothing but a guy standing there staring at a whiteboard with an idea were it not for the engineering team. they really helped, not helped, they shaped this into what it was, and they had some really novel approaches to everything. The first thing that we had to do is we had to understand what blocks would be the merge blocks, because nobody knew that. The way this worked, for those that might not know, is under proof of work, every block that settled ever under the proof of work settlement layer, they all had a difficulty hash for the miner to solve, that mathematical problem that the miner solved. That's the thing that eats up all the electricity, because the computers are all competing trying to solve that problem. And the more computers are competing, the more energy they're eating. And they're all trying to solve that one problem. And if they solve it, they get to settle the block, and they get the block reward for that paid to them in ETH. That's under the old proof of work way. Well, the difficulty of settling a block depends on how many miners are trying to settle it. And the way that they set the merge to happen is they said, when every block that's ever been settled, when the total difficulty processed by all of the computers reaches 7 trillion and some odd number, will merge. And so that left it really open ended on when it would happen. It was not like there was a specific block that we could go shoot for. And that actually probably played to our advantage, because it made it where it was more of a skill proposition, because the first thing you had to do was accurately predict that block. And so Alex wrote something. I don't know how he did it, or what all it entailed, but looking at the terminal difficulty as it stacked up, looking at the miners that were coming in and out that were mining at the time, even on that last day, even the Ethereum Foundation and the other official outlets that were publishing an estimate of when the merge would happen, they were off by several hours the entire day. Even in the last hour, they were off by like 30 minutes still. So these people their estimating tools were off by that much, and we had to be precise down to the exact block to even know when to fire the transaction. And then another big difference that we did is that, whereas a lot of other people that were sitting there trying to see when the last block would happen, they just started minting tokens and minting transactions or firing transactions. And but they were doing it all based on previously executed contracts, right? To do something, to mint a token, you have to use a smart contract that's already deployed on Ethereum. And they were just using smart contracts that had been deployed sometime prior, and they were minting some tokens. And they were all that's something that a lot of people were doing. But we were like, that's not really that's not the way. We have to mint the last contract. We have to deploy the last contract, and we have to then mint the tokens. We had a lot more significant payload in what we had to do. So our guys deployed the last block on the penultimate proof of work block, last contract out, minted the entire 10,000 token supply, which was also novel. They minted the tokens into the contract, so they didn't go into a wallet. No one has ever owned these. So when you claim yours, you will be the first claimant, and you'll be able to come in with your hot wallet, claim when the time comes, and you'll be able to send it directly to your vault or wherever. And that vault will have the provenance as being the only owner of that ever. And I think that's also really cool. So just every execution point that they could hit on this, they hit it. And I think they've really created something special. And it was definitely a difficult technical feat. One last thing, and then I'll kick back for any other follow up here. But the night when it was happening, I was on a Twitter space off to the side, and I had the guys on the other screen off to the side on Google Meet that were the team that was working on this. And the spaces that I was on said, okay, we're being told by such and such that the merge just happened. And they were going off of like the Ethereum Foundation website, because I guess their estimating tool got to 0, and everybody's like, oh, we're merged. And at that point, we had not done anything yet. And so I'm like, oh no. So I'm looking over at the guys. I'm like, hey, this Twitter space is saying we just merged. And Alex is looking down at his computer, and he's hacking on stuff. He's like, no, it hasn't happened. I don't know what those people are talking about. And then he's like, wait a minute. Everything just fired. So, this thing was set to go based on all the calculations and everything. They wrote all this code ahead of time, and then had it deploy without bugs, without errors, in that live environment, in the heat of the moment. And he's like, yeah, we just fired. And then he's like, a few seconds later, he's like, all right, I got a transaction. I got another transaction. And then we started looking at the blocks, and as soon as I pulled up Etherscan and got to the block, I could see where the merge happened, and I was like, and then I jumped into those blocks, and we were the only contract on both sides bookending it, and I was like, holy crap, you guys did it, unbelievable. Um, a block takes about 30 million gas it can hold. That's how much basically information can go into one block. And what we were doing required 21 million gas, I think. So we were taking up like 70% of the block space, and we did all this without bribing any miners. We did it all without a gas war. We paid like 60 Gwei on one contract, and I think maybe 80 Gwei on the other, because we did the proof of stake and the proof of work side. And yeah, just a really, when I've talked to other Solidity devs and other engineers, and they're like, holy crap, these guys are ninjas, man. Like, how did they even come up with the framework of how to do it, let alone actually doing it? It worked.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can imagine there was definitely some cheering happening in the room, and it was a pretty exciting moment.
I told somebody yesterday, I wish I kind of had your hat on in this, that I was a content creator as well. I would have had cameras set up, but the big fail here for me is like I didn't memorialize that moment, because it would have been, people that get geeked up on this stuff, they would, that Google Meet, and if I'd have had that on screen record, or if I'd have had a camera shooting me it would have been really cool content, because it was a really cool moment, and to see it in the heat of battle, and to see the excitement and that would also kind of show people that, wow, these guys really had written all this ahead of time, and they were just waiting for it to either, it was kind of like launching a spaceship, right? I mean, it was on autopilot, and when it hit zero, the engines were going to fire, and it was going to go, and that's what happened, and it just went perfectly. And before it all, early that day, the guys were really stressed, and I told them, I was like, guys, look, you know, this isn't an outward facing thing. We don't have 10,000 people that are eyes on this from our side. You know, that if this fails, they're all mad at us. I said, this is all behind the scenes. Just have some fun. Don't stress. If we hit it, we hit it. If we don't, we don't. We'll be out of some ETH and some time and energy, but you know, it's just nature of the beast. We can't be afraid to fail. And because then you're not gonna have fun, and probably increase your odds of failing. So that lightened the room up a little bit. And then I asked him a little bit later, I was like, so Alex, what do you think the odds are that your deployer is going to be able to accurately hit the block? And he said, I think pretty good. I'm feeling really good about it, Jeff. I think you have to hear how Alex talks. He's a really he's a real unique guy. And he's like, yeah, I think it's going to be, I think we got probably about 20%. And then I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'm asking a little bit later, I'm like, so Jim, like the gas, like, what do you think, how do you think we feel about the gas, and what's going to happen with the gas war? And he's like, I don't know, 5%. I'm like, sorry, so you guys are telling me we got a 5% chance of a 20% chance. All right, let's go. So the odds were stacked against us, but it worked.
Well, that is so exciting, and especially, since you had such a narrow window, and also, this is a once in a lifetime situation. It's no going back. There's nothing, and just make sure it all happens. So how exciting! That is so so cool.
Yeah, it's nerdy, and it'll take a little bit more time, and it'll take time for us to tell this story through this proof of work one is good, and then the holy grail is really going to be that first proof of stake contract. I don't want to take away from the proof of work tokens that we're up for pre-mint right now, because they are very special, and this is a really cool thing. But you know, I'm a collector too, and I try to be intellectually honest. And although I love the last proof of work, the first proof of stake is at a whole nother level. Like, so it's like we're doing this one first, get a bunch of people in our ecosystem, let them understand who we are, what we do, who our team is. They can kind of learn with us here, and then we'll have a little bit wider base to spring from when we actually launch and announce our plans for the proof of stake side, which that one is going to be really really big, um, on a whole nother level.
Well, that is so exciting, and I know that I've been familiar with block packs, and Alpha Trilogy's been a big collector in block packs since the beginning, and you guys are always, keeping things moving, revolutionizing, really implementing new and innovative ways of collecting, and also encouraging that collecting. And so, what is going to be happening in the next few days related to this particular project?
So to get the last proof of work collection, the tokens, the pre-mint the pre-mint list closes tomorrow, I think at 5 Eastern. So everybody needs to get on that, and everybody that's here in Meta Jungle, you have your spots, and the in addition to that, we obviously know that everyone in Meta Jungle is not a bot, and we know that they're real people. So even if your requests exceed the number of spots you have when it rolls over, because what will happen is you'll get a chance to come from your list first, and then you'll roll over to the bigger list. But when you roll over to the bigger list, the deep botting and stuff on that is really difficult. And one of the best signal you can have is coming from these partner communities. So the partner communities like MetaJungle, your hit rate to get your folks in is going to be super high. It's just the way it works, because we have to. The worst thing that we could do is end up handing this whole thing to bots, and the best way we can protect against that is to know where people came from, and so and know that they had a token gated experience of some kind, because nobody wants to connect their wallet with their high dollar assets in it for pre-mints and allow lists. So the Discord is the next best proxy, because people have verified into different channels and stuff, and so it's just a good it's a good anti-bot signal for us. So anyway, the allow list will get announced again. I expect your folks in here will have a really high hit rate on that, and then we will mint on Tuesday. The mint window is scheduled from 12 to 6, and that'll be the allow list window. It will not be oversubscribed, so if you're on the allow list, you can come at 5:30, and you don't have to worry that your token will be gone. So whatever time in that 12 to 6 window you can allot is fine. And then at 6, it'll switch over to the wait list. The wait list will be oversubscribed. So once it gets to 6, there'll be some risk that you won't get in. But and if you were to not make it on the allow list, we've seen this before. If you're right there at the start of the wait list, you still have a really good chance. The reality is the people that really want to get into this, I think, have a really good chance of getting in, either through the allow list, through a partner community, and even if that were to fail, early, be there right there when the wait list kicks over, you should be able to get your hands on one of these. Still here?
The link shared in the announcement channels. So if you have not done that yet, please check that out. And we have a special link for all of our gold members, which everyone in the room today, if you haven't been a gold member, you will be a gold member. So you can definitely use that link. But we also want everyone to feel comfortable with joining. So we have both the open and the other there to be able to utilize. And I know we've had several already go ahead and go through the process, but also encourage any others to do so.
Awesome. Yeah. And so, but yeah, that's the next and then what'll happen is, once, make sure that everybody kind of understands this, what you're actually going to be minting on Tuesday is you're going to be minting a claim pass, because the actual proof of work tokens, again, this is a very important nuance. They are all minted already. There's nothing to mint. They're in the contract, basically like the same way a staking contract would work, similar mechanism. That's what happened. They were minted and instantly staked, right? And so again, they've never hit a wallet. And so what we're going to be minting is, we're just minting a normal old run-of-the-mill contract on Tuesday, and everybody will get a token. And the claim pass is what you will then use when the collection is ready. Now, what does ready mean? The thing that we want to do with this collection is we want to celebrate the first 7 years of Ethereum's existence. And so we have a lot of really interesting ideas of the things that need to be commemorated in that collection. We have rarity scales in block packs of how we create rarity and keep collections accessible, so that you have some things that are more common that people can get. Again, more like trading cards than a 10,000 PFP or even an art collection. You have to kind of suspend some of your the paradigms that you may have, and think more like the rarity scales and stuff that we're going to be using here. But we're going to look for 25 to 50 moments in Ethereum's first 7 years that need to be commemorated here. Does the CryptoKitties craze need to be commemorated? And if so, there will be a one-of-one collectible that talks about and has information about what the CryptoKitty craze was, immutable to the blockchain forever, talk about what it did, how it drove ETH prices crazy, how it broke the internet, and really that was the first time we ever saw ETH get strained from a gas perspective, because the gas got driven so high from the kitty breeding process. That was definitely a kind of a watershed moment for Ethereum, and it showed developers what could happen when things really scaled up. And so that helped shine a light on some of the problems that may need to be solved for the future. The concepts of sharding and some other things that will be coming now that the merge is and move to proof of stake is complete. A lot of that still born back in that era where we had these theoretical ideas of what some stressors on the network might look like, and then CryptoKitties really showed us for the first time what it did look like. So I think when you look at that story, it seems to me that that's one that will need to be in there. But at the end of the day, we're going to make some suggestions, and we're going to allow the community to participate in helping us to shape what does get commemorated. And then we will put our block pack style rarity structure around it. And that CryptoKitty moment, if you get the one of one collectible, I would expect that to be really, really highly desirable, desired by people that really vibe and love that aspect of the story, or different reasons that people collect. And there's different reasons people collect Pokemon cards and sports cards. Which team do you pull for? Which players do you like and love and the most? And for like our CryptoPunk cards, I've seen a lot of different reasons people are buying them. Some are buying them to build a set. Some are buying ones that they think look like them. I saw somebody that said they were building ones that they thought looked like their family. There were some that people just, I think Caroline, she bought her, the one she went after and built her best rainbow on. I think she just thought that the girl vibed with her, kind of looked like a badass workout band and a patch, a little edgy. So, there's different reasons that people pick the different collectibles there. And I think we'll see the same thing in the other collection. And then that rarity framework, allows you to kind of have a level that you can participate in. If you're the really big whale collector, and you can go after the really low supply, really, really high end stuff. And if you're more of your budgets are lower, you can still participate. And that's one of the things that I'm super proud of in block packs. With sports cards and stuff, every release, every Pokemon release, every Magic release, every Fortnite cards are out, everything that gets released, those rarity, that's kind of how it works. And out of all of these, there are some stuff that's super expensive, but there's also stuff that a kid can buy that's cutting lawns and wants to come in and buy something. We have stuff in block packs over on the Polygon side, collectibles. You can go right now and buy some of them for $2, and I'm super proud of that. And in that same collection, there's stuff that costs that has turned down 3-4 ETH offers, and that spread is something that you don't see in other NFTs. Like the Bored Apes, Floor Ape is 100,000, and maybe the most Grail of Grail, but there's the with our collection, that spread is super linear throughout it. So what you see a lot of times in these PFP collections, you kind of see the floors, and then the mid rares are just a little bit higher, and then there's like a couple of things that jump to some astronomical number. In our collections, it's much more linear. Like you can come in and say, I want to collect at this rarity tier on this collection over on Polygon. It's $2. I don't think that, please don't hear me wrong. I'm not saying that I think it's not my price to set price, not my place to set prices. I'm not saying the last proof of works are going to be $2. I'm just saying that we have stuff in our ecosystem over on Polygon where we do have entry prices that low. And then, but you could, again, you could come in if you want to collect at that most common tier you're in, you could build the whole set. If it's got 100 pieces, they average $2 to $3. You build a whole set and you're in for $300. You're not going to get wrecked doing that. But if you're also a big time collector, we have those in our community. You can go up to the top tier, get the most rare stuff, and you could build that same set in a rarer parallel, and that same set may cost you $30,000. So, and I think that's just a really interesting thing that we've done, and something we want to kind of carry over in all of our collections. Again, I think the desire for these last proof of works will be high. So even the ones at the low tier are going to be highly desired by collectors. But I still think that there's going to be that accessibility, that linear accessibility through the collection. So once price discovery settles where the most common are, I think you'll still see that exact same linear progression up. And that's something that I'm really proud of. Something that we kind of brought from the world of cards that I think has really played well over here in NFTs.
Yeah, that is very exciting, and I do think that this is gonna be something that's highly sought after. I mean, this is it's one of a kind, it's history in the making. I mean, it's super exciting. And I do have a question. I know you mentioned that the claim pass would come first and then the tokens. What will the tokens have you picked token art or what the tokens will look like?
No, that'll be part of what we'll actually do with the community. So we'll probably design probably 4 or 5 core background core options for the collection. If you want to feel the vibe, go to the CryptoPunk collection. Go to the first Block Packs first editions CryptoPunks, and you can pull up, go over to the side and click on the tiers and look at the blacks, and you'll see the black one-on-one holograms, and then go to the reds, golds, commons, and you'll see how that rarity tier progresses. So it's very obvious. And then if you look at the main collection, you can very easily pick out as you're just scrolling the different rarities. They kind of jump off at you. It's not like something where you have to say, wait a minute, is there a little tiny dot here that makes this one more rare? And so we would create kind of a similar rarity framework, some different art options, probably have 3 or 4 to choose from that we, the team, are willing to sign off on, and then let the community kind of say, "Ooh, we think that one's the best." And then we'll go with that, and then and then as far as what gets commemorated, so there'll be, and don't feel like because you get one of these that you have to participate in that. You could just get your claim pass and sit back and wait. You don't have to do any of that. I know that'll be, I'll be surprised if more than 10% of people really want to roll their sleeves up and participate in the votes and stuff. But the 10% that do becomes a good proxy for what the 100% want, and that'll be a really interesting exercise. We've never actually done that. Normally, when we release our collectibles, we do everything in a back room, and then people see it and they react to it. Some things they love, and some things not, maybe not as much. Right? You don't win, you don't hit every single time a home run, but this one will be done much more in the daylight, and people will have a much greater voice in how this one shapes, at least through those that choose to participate. But again, I don't want anybody thinking, oh crap, I'm going to mint this and I have to do work. No, you mint it, sit it in your wallet, and you don't ever have to touch it until claim day comes, and rely on others that are really interested and geeked up on it. Let them participate, and then you'll just be along for the ride in what choices get made.
Very cool, very cool. And that's even an added bonus to be able to be involved at that level. So very cool. And this will all happen in the Block Packs Discord, is that right?
That's right. We'll set up a special channel for this, that everybody will be able, they'll gate into, and that's where that's where we'll post the different things that can be voted, and we'll just use one of the simple snapshot or something where you just click, it sees that you have that token, and then you throw your vote in. Pretty simple and straightforward. But yeah, Block Packs Discord will be ground zero for all of it.
Very cool. So we need to definitely get we need to get signed up for this to make sure we have a chance to be able to participate and be watching. Will announcements be provided like through Twitter as far as getting closer to the date, or in Discord? Like, what is the best way for the community to stay engaged?
Yeah, we try to, our goal is anytime we have something important to say that needs to go out to the outward world, we try to say it in every channel. So ideally, if you're following us on Twitter, Block Packs, myself, if you're in Discord, ideally you won't miss anything. We do have, for folks that are okay with Web 2 communication mechanisms, excuse me, we have a text list and we have an email list, and those are helpful too. But a lot of people in Web 3 are a little wary of those type of communication channels, but I still kind of like them. But the big thing, if you're relying on emails and texts for any type of updates, you just have to make sure that what you're getting is from the source you're getting it from. Never rush to click a link and connect your wallet to anything. Always triple check. And I'm on the people that offer those kind of lists. I'm on them. But then if something gets announced, I always then circle back to the official Twitter, and we don't send out mint links in email or text. It's really just, hey, it's time for this thing, and then the link we give will go to a landing page with the information, or it'll take you into Discord or Twitter. We try to be real careful not to create an attack vector with that. But anyway, we do have those channels. We have the old Web 2 channels as well that you can get on.
Perfect, perfect. And so, as we're signing up through pre-mint, and if we're selected, how would we know whether if we've actually been selected?
So there's pre-mint does also take optional emails, and they will alert you that you made it, or if you made the wait list, if you signed up for their email. And in addition, then there will be a checker where you'll be able to come plug your wallet in, and it'll tell you on Monday, when we announce the actual list, you'll be able to come and check on that page to see if you made it or not. And of course, we'll message that is now live. We'll message that through Discord and Twitter and all channels. But if you come Monday afternoon, you'll be able to check and see if you made it on.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we are so excited and really love getting to learn some more information about this process. And yeah, to be able to be a part of history and potentially own a token from the very last block of the proof of work is, man, you guys have really knocked it out of the park this time. It's really, really amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. It's definitely a level of provenance that you can't fake. And we actually saw some people try to fake the proof of stake provenance, right? There were several projects that tried to. They knew that it would be big enough, so they kind of had their marketing engine ready, and they were going to try to take advantage of that moment and say they were the first proof of stake project. And what they all did is they all launched their contracts proof of work, and then they minted a few tokens on the proof of stake side and tried to lay claim to proof of stake. And it took about 30 minutes for the people that are kind of respected, blockchain historians to say, no, wait a minute, no, this is BS. You minted on proof of work. How can you possibly claim to be the first proof of stake? And then, of course, the next place that goes is everybody says, okay, well, it was first proof of stake, and you'd have to look far forward. All you do is look in that first block, and there it is. And of course, once they found out that was us, I've actually met a bunch of people here in the last week that are in that kind of blockchain historian community that I hadn't met prior, and their feedback and kind of what they had to say about the way it was done and the execution, how clean it was, to basically leave no doubt. I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes you win a game and it's an official's call at the end and you walk away with the win, but it's got a little asterisk beside it. And then sometimes you beat your opponent 100-0 and you leave no doubt. And in reality, that's what this is, because of the way the engineers did it, with the clean deployment, with the clean mint, all in the first block, all in the same transaction. They left no doubt. They beat the competition 100-1, and so that's a big part of the story, and it just makes it immutable. And it's part of why we think we're going to be able to really take our time and be patient with what we're going to do on the proof of stake side. I mean, that's something we're probably not going to launch until, I mean, right now I'm kind of eyeing end of Q1 next year. So 6 months from now, to just prep and get ready for that one. And it's the reason we're able to do that and have the confidence that we can do that is because that record on the blockchain is not going anywhere.
For sure, for sure. And that will be something super exciting. So, yeah, we'll definitely be watching for that and see what's being built. And, we're in really exciting times with it being, history being made right now and being a part of it. And so this is something that will be looked at for decades and decades in the future as a crazy moment in time. So you guys have really, kudos to you and the team. I mean, that's just really, really amazing to have pulled it off and done so seamlessly, and also have a lot of respect for the patience that you're putting into making sure that everything is in line and goes off really, really well and can do something exciting, and that provenance is marked in there. So we really appreciate MetaJungle being able to be a part of it as well, and extending the opportunity to be a part of this initial drop and have that opportunity to get in on that early free claim period. So appreciate you coming by, Frenchie, too, to kind of answer those questions and tell us a little bit more detail as well.
No, super happy to be here. We love MetaJungle. I know that I tend to be scarce in a lot of other discords because I only have so much Discord bandwidth, and I have to dedicate it to the stuff we're building. But I know what you guys are doing over here, and I follow the videos, share a lot of your videos and stuff. And then obviously with Alpha Trilogy, certainly really appreciate him. He's been with us since the earliest of early days, and so we definitely count MetaJungle as close friends of BlockPacks for sure.
Well, same for sure. Same for sure. And I totally understand there can only be so much time in the day. But really, yeah, we'll be excited to help get the message out about this as well. So I want to encourage everyone in the room again to check out the announcements if you haven't yet. Following up with our team on that. And I know, Frenchie, you are a busy guy, so I appreciate your time today. Also, Carol Fine and the team members that have come over.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much for having us, and hope everybody has a great day, and look forward to Monday and getting these things out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Rex, do you have any other questions? Probably not.
No, I don't.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds great. Well, I think we can go ahead and probably wrap up for today. But again, thank you guys so much. And we are so excited for what's to come. So, and if anybody has any questions, please reach out to me and I can be of help with getting things organized and everybody connected and in the right direction. But thank you guys again so much.
All right. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Appreciate
All
it.
right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.